Enough of burning and drilling and mining our way deeper. We are digging our own graves.
It's 1 minute to midnight on that doomsday clock, and we need to act now.
The eyes and hopes of the world are upon you to act with all dispatch and decisively, because time has quite literally run out.
We only have a brief window left before us to raise our ambitions and to meet the task that's rapidly narrowing.
Maybe people would take those hypocrites more seriously if they actually acted as if there actually were a real crisis. While they call for you to eat less meat, fly less, they've turned the UN summit in Glasgow into the world's largest private jet parade. According to the Daily Mail, 400 private jets have converged on the summit, causing air traffic jams. Meanwhile, China's President Xi didn't even bother to show up, neither did Putin. Likewise, neither did China nor India they've not pledged to cut emissions at all. So what is the point of all this? And what are the dangers for American taxpayers lurking out there? Here to discuss is Steve Milloy, former Trump EPA transition team member, founder of junkscience.com. Steve, we wanted to have a debate tonight, but shocker, most enviro groups either didn't respond, said they couldn't make it work, your reaction, so by yourself, no one to challenge you except me, okay, to the extravagant hypocrisy of the global elites that on display, obviously, in Glasgow.
Yeah, so I guess they'll respond to Media Matters. Look, we just heard a lot of hysteria today. Boris Johnson saying it's 1 minute to midnight, like this was some sort of, movie on the verge of nuclear holocaust. Right. It's all crazy. The hypocrisy is just incredible. But, what's really going on is what's going on in the United States with Joe Manchin. And, I think I'm going to build a statue to Joe Manchin when this is all over, because he is single-handedly stopping the Biden climate agenda. And thank God for him, because Joe Biden was on the verge of federalizing our electricity grid and doing all the bad things that the federal government can do to our electricity grid, making prices go up, making electricity less reliable. They were going to throw out all the fossil fuels from the grid. Germany is trying that. It doesn't work. We're not learning from countries that are experimenting with this. We are just on this, crazy path to where the government is going to control everything through climate. And thank God for Joe Manchin. But Steve, they're still in the federal government. They're not giving out permits for drilling. Oil companies are not investing in new technologies for drilling. They're not putting in the R&D money because they don't know if they're ever going to get their money out of it now. And gas prices are still ridiculously high. And, we're going to have a ridiculously expensive winter in any cold weather climate. So it's not working out so well on that score. No, it's not. I mean, we've stopped the legislation, but what's going to happen now is Joe Biden is going to turn to the regulatory state, just like
where all the mischief
Obama
is made.
did after. Right. And EPA right now is planning on maybe not regulating CO2 because the Supreme Court is going to be looking at that. They announced on Friday. But they're going to use air quality standards as a substitute for regulating fossil fuels, and that's going to be just as bad. Now, there's some ongoing litigation, so we'll see how that turns out. But we're in a very dangerous time, but at least the legislation has been stopped. Now, the Archbishop of Canterbury recently made a comment about politicians who are not climate alarmists.
They will be cursed if they don't get this right. People will speak of them in far stronger terms than we speak today of the politicians of the 30s, of the politicians who ignored what was happening in Nazi Germany.
So if you don't buy into the climate summit, you're a Nazi. So he's apologizing now for that disgusting remark. But what does that say, that they're going there? Well, they're desperate. Their rhetoric is, at 11 now. Reality is destroying their dreams. They're trying to hustle us quickly into giving them the power. That's what this is all about. They're scaring us, guilt-tripping us. They want the power now. They're promising, emissions cuts 30, 40, 50 years from now, but they want the power now, and that's what it's all about. Steve, great to see you tonight. And up next, a profile in leadership on the gridiron. The Last Bite explains.